Good afternoon, HealthPoint staff. This video will review the Session 1 assessment that you all took last Saturday on February the 25th. So we're going to jump right in and get started with number 2. HealthPoint's policies and procedures are located on the desktop. That is true. I'm going to minimize my screen for a moment. The HealthPoint policies and procedures are on everyone's desktop, so everyone has the opportunity to come in here and browse through. If there's one that you're looking for in particular, you can use Control F, which will cause a little search box to appear, so you can type in here what you're searching for. For example, if you want to learn more about referrals, it will take you to that policy and procedure. Coming back to the assessment, number 3, the BVCAA tech support icon located on the desktop allows me to initiate a chat session with our IT group. That is true, and I will show you what that looks like now. This is the BVCAA tech support. I can open up this window to initiate a chat session with our IT group. They can remote in. The window looks just like this. I can put in my name, hit connect, and then I can contact one of our IT group. Which of the commands would you use to save a file to a new location? That's going to be save as. Which of the following are email dues? We want to make sure that we include a subject line in the subject field, keep our emails brief, use spell check, respond in a timely fashion. Which of the following are email don'ts? We don't want to use shortcuts. We don't want to click on antivirus protection scareware. We don't want to open emails from an unknown sender or download from an unknown sender. We also don't want to include patient data. Number 7, suspicious pop-ups should be clicked on immediately in order for the user to close them out. That is false. If you have any suspicious pop-ups, please contact IT. Emails with attachments should only be opened if I know the sender. That is true. When leaving my computer, I should always lock or log off. That is true. It's also a good habit. One of the ways that you can quickly lock your computer is by hitting the Windows button and the L key. Email should be checked at least once a day. That is true. Next, going to the next section. These are referred to as menus and are used for setup. Which menu is used to print the day sheet? It's going to be your reports menu. Selecting file settings, my settings, allows you to change which providers and resources you see in your resource schedule. Selecting file refresh counts will update the count in my Jelly Beans. That is true. If you see ZZZ beside a provider or resource, it does mean that that person is no longer here and we should not send them any encounter or Jelly Beans. These are olives, and they will show and hide different parts of my screen. These are referred to as the bands. Fields marked with the red asterisk are mandatory fields. That is true. If a patient has a cell phone only, that number should be listed twice, once in the home field and again in the cell field. If a patient has a P.O. box, that address should be listed in address 1. The physical and street address should be listed in additional information. Which screen allows you to capture the FPL? That's going to be the sliding fee screen. Which of the following patients need to complete the income status form? That's going to be patients with Medicaid. Patients with Medicare will need to complete that form. That can be done through eligibility. Patients with CHIP. And that is all. Staff need to check the non-proof of income for patients with third-party payer. That is true. I should always go back and expire after capturing the FPL or using the non-proof of income. That is true. Patient registration is a process of gathering information such as demographics and insurance to generate a new patient record. EHR is a digital version of the patient's paper chart. That is true. EHR stands for Electronic Health Record. The patient drop-down arrow will show the last 5 patients whose hub I viewed. When looking up a patient in the EHR, it is recommended to search using the patient's date of birth. Looking at this screen here, the blue box in the bottom left corner indicates the patient has a global alert. The blank spot in the upper right-hand corner indicates the patient has not been at our facility. And the green W indicates that the patient is web-enabled. The user can create a new patient by clicking on the new button in the patient lookup. The new copy allows the user to create a new chart using an existing patient's information. Linking patient accounts is completed using the responsible party. Linking the responsible party means the user can update demographics for several patients at once. Which of the following is required to register a new patient in the system? Most of you should be familiar with this, but that's going to be name, address, phone number, date of birth, sex, and responsible party. Remember, marital status and emergency contact can be obtained when the patient checks in. After obtaining a patient's name and date of birth over the phone or in person, we should be verifying the address and phone number. A duplicate account means that one patient has two accounts in the system. We should contact support and development for that. A HealthPoint patient is considered established if they've been seen by one or more HealthPoint providers within the last 3 years. The self-pay checkbox is located in the patient information screen. The self-pay checkbox should be unchecked with patients that have insurance, Medicaid, Medicare, or a third-party payer, all of the above. The self-pay checkbox should be checked with patients that have none of these. Remember, we're only going to use that self-pay checkbox for patients that have our programs. The PCP or rendering provider is your main provider that coordinates all of your healthcare services. That is true. The patient's PCP or rendering provider can be found in the patient info and in the hub. Which of the following are included under the additional information screen? It's going to be race, ethnicity, language, default facility, structured data, and pharmacy. To obtain the patient's photo, go to the information screen, additional info, general information, and click capture. Registration packet should be scanned into the patient documents folder. Which of the following are folders located in the patient docs? That's going to be lab, home health, consult notes, chart documents, and patient documents. The correct way to name a document in the patient documents is 2015-0218 _ consent. So 4-digit year, 2-digit day and month. Pages and DPI should be set to 99 and 250. I have to choose a folder in the patient documents before attaching. That is true. Next section. What information should be included in a telephone encounter? We want the name, phone number, provider, message, and reason. However, we do not want to include information other than the patient's. Marking the encounter as a high priority will change the T Jelly Bean from gray to red. That is true. The reason for the telephone encounter will be shown in the encounter screen, in the hub, and in the T Jelly Bean. The browse button shown above allows me to search and select keywords for a message or document description. The timestamp includes the username, date, and time. Before assigning a telephone encounter, I should mark it as address. That is false. We should leave it open before sending. Which 3 visit types are considered short? That's your acute, revisit, and follow-up. 3 visits considered long are the annual, well-child check, and physical. Which of the following should be verified when making an appointment? Name and date of birth, address and phone number, and insurance and program dates. The general notes on the appointment screen can be used to document information on the copay, program expiration dates, insurance information, but nothing regarding any other patients. Provider option will not be used until the day of and/or the provider has given permission. That is true. Which of the following patients should be scheduled using the ACC visit type? If a family planning program patient has a cold, if an HTW patient has a cold, or if an insurance patient has a cold. For family planning and HTW patients that are coming in for visits regarding family planning reasons, those should be scheduled using the FPACC. When is it appropriate to schedule an ACC? Same day, next day. The follow-up should be used for appointments for family planning and HTW for non-family planning reasons, and insurance patients for any follow-up reason. ECP should be used for established patients seeing a provider to establish care. The physical visit type should be used for insurance patients that need a yearly exam. The transition of care checkbox should always be used when the patient has been seen outside of HealthPoint. HTW can be utilized at all sites. Which of the following are considered family planning services for HTW patients? That's going to be your yeast infection, STD, pregnancy test, diabetes, hypertension, and hyperlipidemia. The revisit should be used when a family planning program patient needs a follow-up for a family planning reason An HTW patient needs a follow-up for a family planning reason. The annual should be used for family planning and HTW patients needing a yearly exam. An HTW patient that needs to follow up for a family planning related reason, such as a yeast infection, should be scheduled using the revisit. Which of the following patients should be scheduled using the FPACC? That's going to be your family planning program patient with a yeast infection, HTW patient with a UTI, and an HTW patient that needs a med refill for DM, HTN, or HLD. An HTW patient that needs a follow-up for a non-family planning related issue should be scheduled using which visit type? That's just going to be your follow-up. Which of the following chronic conditions are considered family planning for HTW patients? That's going to be all of the above: diabetes, hypertension, and hyperlipidemia. Letters should be tracked in ECW. However, if the letter deviates from the norm, we will scan that letter. Otherwise, letters should not be scanned. Please let me know if you have any questions. My office number is 979-695-3446. Thank you.